hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
We recording. Let's go. What's the smoke? I think I already know what it's about.
So, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my dilemma, right? I got my boy from MI Crooked Letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And then I got Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm already going to get in trouble because he light skinned. The problem I have is this. How does the brother from Mississippi put sugar on his grits
Oh, man.
and the light-skinned brother puts on salt? I don't understand.
I'm compensating for something else, sir. That's all. Pigment challenge, you know. Sun dodger, you know what I mean? Just, you know.
That's
So riddle me that PTSF podcast.
So I'm in the right. Boom. Cool. All right.
Well,
Salt all day.
Man, that sugar on them grits to be hitting. If you ain't tried that shit, boy, woo, be hitting. Especially, and then you mess around and throw some jelly. I mean, I don't want to get all into it, but man, you throw some jelly on that thing, boy.
this dude put the whole breakfast in the grits.
whole breakfast goes in the sausage, eggs, everything goes in it.
The sausage goes in.
My goodness.
Cool.
Come on, man.
Say again?
Yeah, come on, man. It's way too early.
Hey,
Wait, don't lie on me.
Wait,
That's the definition of my character. Don't motherfucking defamate my character.
It's way too
Well,
early.
last episode was serious. This one isn't, as per the usual rotation for this platform.
You gotta level it out for everybody that joined us because of the Monday VHR episode. We gotta level it out.
Yeah.
Gotta let them know.
Yeah.
Gotta get these shots in before I put on captain.
Yeah.
All right, here's my for the listeners, we're gonna get into the intro. If you don't know who we talking to, we're gonna get into the intro in a second. I'm gonna break down a dilemma, and I'm interested in how everybody would respond to this dilemma. And of course, this is said from my POV. So on Thursday, I got a text message that said, "Are you tracking the mandatory town hall for all UH residents today at 1600?" And I said, no, I wasn't tracking that, right? A little bit more context, my sellers who work in DC live in Bethesda. And more context, my sellers and Aaron's sellers both live in the same barracks. So I wasn't tracking this mandatory town hall. So then I get a screenshot of the email that came out at lunchtime the day before that said it was a mandatory town hall on Thursday. And I'm like, so email came out the day before about a mandatory town hall today, and the expectation is that like all of our sellers gonna make it. Long story short on that one, it got canceled because it wasn't no way that everybody could make it. And my command is dynamic. I work at the ceremonial guard. There's no way that things like that could happen without like planning. We got a details team that plan everything, right? So Friday, I come from a retirement event in which I said to watch for the first time, but my sellers were there at the event. So I come from the event, my sellers were there. I look at my email just to check. At 1600, another mandatory town hall email got sent out about a mandatory town hall on Wednesday, right? But it got sent out at 1600, and I didn't get it from the originator. I got it from somebody like trying to give me a heads up, like, "Hey, bro, it's a mandatory. Do you know about this?" And I'm like, "No." So next week we got a bunch of like from today through next Thursday. My command is like stoked with events, presidential events, like all types of stuff. It's to the point that we're gonna take a 96 at the end of the week because we just don't have time. I understand how important this town hall is. I want my sellers to go to this town hall. My frustration as a leader is that is no coordination from the people that's running the town hall or like that own the barracks. It's no coordination. It's just, hey, it's like all, in my opinion, all that needs to happen is a simple group email. Put me on it, put Aaron on it, put whoever else in the barracks on it. See what the best time is to get the most amount of people at this place. We can't get everybody. It's not perfect. So that's what my issue is, right? So my question for everybody here is, would you or would you not have an issue with the way that this correspondence has been carried out? Starting with Damon.
Yeah, hey, I have a problem with it, Damo, but at the same time, the problem comes for you is because your environment where you work at, you have to have some type of schedule. It got to be crazy. Like for me, for example, on aviation, my guys do certain things. I'll be like, hey, we got to be here on Wednesday. It may not be as hard to get all my sailors there on Wednesday, but for you, I think it's a whole different ball game. But when it comes to the schedule wise, man, yeah, I'd be a little upset. I ain't saying I won't do it or try to do it, but I most definitely will be a little upset about it.
Siri?
I just think in 2026, man, it's too many dang tools to coordinate, man. You think about it, like you call somebody right now regularly, they're not at the desk. You probably got the telephone number, cell phone number of every chief in your mess right now with how spread out you guys are. We all using Teams. We all got Outlook calendars. The only way you got that information was in an email. And it was a day before or a couple days before. I think we could plan a little bit. 2-3 days, that's reasonable. I can see the frustration. But you getting the information secondhand in 2026, I just struggle, man. How? You know, I mean, that would have been across a group meet, a group chat. That would have been a calendar invite as I'm looking at my day. Like, okay, I see this is coming up in the next couple of days. That would have been a conversation across the mess. Like, I struggled that the communication didn't flow. I mean, I just remember existing in the Navy where something changed in the morning at quarters and we all had the plan by lunchtime and we're moving in a different direction. But something like an all hands call, we have a single point of failure. That's a little weak.
And I'm going to add, but before you go, Commander, I'm going to add a bit more context here just to make sure. The originator of this is a civilian, right? So when the command senior chief, because I don't like these people listen too, so shout out but when a command senior chief, I think when she found out, the first occurrence, right, when she found out it was ill coordinated, she did reach out like, hey, Damo, are you tracking this? And it was like, no, I'm not. And then now even this Friday occurrence, same civilian. So then another chief reached out like, hey, Damo, I just want you to know this is happening. So that's a little bit more I think when the Chiefs got it, the moment they got it, they sent it, but the exchanges were still like super last minute. So,
yeah. So my opinion doesn't change much. Players mess up though. We'll get it right next time. Just do a better job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, if the all hands call was a one-off and it was like the all hands is a new idea. And so let's try to figure it out. That means that all hands call isn't a part of your weekly schedule, weekly battle rhythm. So it's something new that the leadership needs to slap the table on what the new change to the process is going to be. That being said, if this is something that the commanding officer, the command leadership wants to do, because the information needs to be put out is important enough, then that's just a Roger out and get everybody lined up. And so I would say if the urgency, if the information is routine, then you push it. If it's urgent, emergency, and it reprioritizes majority of your command in the efforts that they're already doing from a command modification perspective, then you got to do all hands call because the leadership called for an all hands call. So those details would dictate. Those kinds of details is what would dictate whether or not that all hands email was valid or not for me.
All right, so I'm gonna add more context to what you just said, just to make sure, and kind of like swing it to you a little bit.
Sure.
That sounded crazy right here. But
it ain't safe nowhere, man. It ain't safe nowhere.
It's not safe today. Everybody's weapons free right now.
I ain't never been quiet before, man. I'm just sitting here in my little box. I'm not saying nothing.
Weapons free today.
I catch myself. But so let's say you're the ICO, right? And this is emergent.
And what's ICO?
installation commanding officer.
Oh,
right?
got it. Okay.
So, in my opinion, this is a bit emergent, right? I'm assuming it's emergent. I think I know what it's from, right? It's reactive and it's from something that's emergent. But you're an ICO. Now, different commands are on your installation, right? Because everybody...
Your tenant commands, yeah.
Tenants, but like we're a tenant, but we are 2 hours away in traffic. Right.
Okay.
My command is 2 hours away in traffic. And then I'm also taking in a context, I'm also in the ceremonial guard. So like, my sellers can't go to everything, right? It's not going to be
so this was an ED for your command or ED for the installation?
So since my sellers live on the installation, it's a mandatory town hall with a request that my sellers are there.
Got it. Okay.
Right. But my sellers, so my sellers work in DC. So you as the ICO now, the installation commanding officer, and again, I don't even know if this information made it to ICO, whatever. But from the CO perspective, like how would you handle that? Because yes, if we all were on an installation and it was an emergency, like hey, we need to all get together, that makes sense. But we ain't all on the installation. We 2 hours away. And we are the ceremonial guard. And I think everybody understands what that means. We're going to have 2 to 3 teams out doing funerals. We got teams out on Fleet Week. We got teams out on Navy Week. Even if it's, because my thought process is if it's emergent, then you get who you have and you record it on video or you put out some more layers of information so that the rest of the people get it. But I'm asking you as a CO, how would you handle with that ball in your court?
Okay. Yeah, and I just caught the nuance there too. We kind of bounce back and forth, all hands call and town hall. Those are two different conversations. The town hall is the command leadership is coming to put out information and get feedback.
Yeah, it's a town hall. It was a town hall.
Right. So that's a different connotation. And so I was still saying that regard, it's still poor planning if you didn't have time to put it out to the tenant commands so that then their people that are the focus of the town hall don't have a chance to change their schedules to participate. Then the communication part of that is going to be a challenge for sure. And so, but I guess your challenge is, again, I'm trying to figure out what's the critique. What was the problem for you? The fact that people didn't have enough time to change their schedules to participate?
Yes, because we have a team.
I know, and that's just a matter of fact. And some folks gonna take that L.
Yeah, we have a team that, but when I'm saying that to the command, it's like, all right, well, if y'all can't be there, then we gonna have to reschedule it. But yes,
or they do it with who's there and then do another one.
That would be mine.
To get a second data point.
Yeah, and even if you do it and do another one, you still need to talk to us about when we could be at.
Yeah, you need to put it like 2 weeks, to put it 2 weeks out so everybody can communicate it.
Yeah. What would you do, Aaron?
Just going back to the communication. So Commander Bonner said, hey, you got WhatsApp and all these interconnected things to communicate in 2026. We shouldn't have any gaps in coverage. But my expectations for communication, effective comms, is so low that I'm just going to put people there. You get what you can because of the importance of it. And yeah, I'm going to tell you, yeah, you should have planned better. But I know people put do not disturb, they mute chats, they don't check email, they don't accept Outlook invites. They put every redundancy and all of them fail because of humans. So I'm just like, hey, somebody's going to go there, therefore all of us are there because of the importance of it. You know, I could get into the like, yo, what's this, man? I'm like, I know the human condition sucks. The attention span's about this big. Look, quality of life is a priority. Get over to the barracks. Chiefs, you live there. My time off. Shut up. Just go over there if you can. If you're not working, just go. And then I'll readjust the comms and, you know, make a Teams option and all that. But because my expectations of comms is low, slim to none, I'm going to get people there. And then I'll get my feedback afterwards, man.
We ain't. So Damon, so now we get in my dilemma, right? My issue with Aaron.
Your predicament.
This is my issue with Aaron. as CMCs, like we need to band together and tell these people that they comms are trash. Like I need Aaron with me. So I need them to be like, you. I need somebody to be like, yo, them CMC. Because I'm about to drop an email. I already said it. I would drop an email like, hey, this is
you didn't
not
tell
how
me you dropping the email.
I told CC I was dropping an email. This is not how we do business, right? I need Aaron on that email. Like it is.
I got you. But when I do barracks inspections and I see this sink is blocked up, I didn't put on a trouble call. The number's posted, the QR code is posted. What's up? What are you doing? You got TikTok fingers. Use the same Angie for your QR code.
See, CC said you don't be talking to her like that.
Y'all having two different conversations though. Like realistically, Damo was like somebody snuck a meeting in, was like, by the way, we gonna meet on Saturday at this one place at this one time. They did it one time, that's it. That's all they did. And then you saying, hey, I gave you every opportunity to know how, when, where to get this thing rectified and you chose not to. One of those you can hold a person accountable for. The other one, I don't know, man.
People being people on that one.
Yeah. I get it. Damo, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I got you. But when I'm doing inspections where I see types of dumb shit, I did an inspection where I see two gerbils running around the barracks room. What are we doing?
Yo, it was a gerbil. Hold on. So look, talk about a gerbil.
We not gonna skip past that.
No.
Nah. Two gerbils in a barracks room.
Yes.
Come on, man.
My gerbil.
How you know that way? How close was you that you knew they was gerbils?
They scurried across the carpet.
And
then I saw the crate, the little thing that they live in.
Oh man, like a pet.
Yes.
In the barracks?
Yes.
Wow, man.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I said, hey, y'all, do your job, boom, 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 resources. Hey, from your CMC, use the DBS method. Don't be stupid. I don't want to see gerbils and poles for your cardio events in your barracks room. Like, I don't want
probably came from my sellers because they had a gerbil at the command. That was something I wanted to talk about. That's why I said the gerbil thing.
Yeah. War fighters with gerbils in their barracks room, right?
Before the gerbil thing is this. When did you find out about Wednesday's town hall?
I couldn't even tell you.
I just told you this morning. Like that's when you found out about Wednesday.
I saw the missed one over. That was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. Yeah.
This Wednesday coming up. You know about it because I just told you about it. The mandatory town hall.
Because the command senior told me, right? And then I went from there. I saw the flyer.
I got a question because y'all doing this in 1G. That's where y'all at. Y'all at like, hey, if we get the communication, everything's good. But I'll work with you, Damo. Like, y'all do ceremonial guards. I do the flyovers for the funerals. Y'all be in so many different places at one time, much like I'm in so many different places at one time, right? I know like on a normal week, I'll go from like, come in, I got a 9 o'clock meeting regarding flyovers, and then I got a 10 o'clock meeting regarding HERX, and then I got a 12 o'clock meeting with the Admiral to brief him on something. By the time I sit down and check my email, I have 30 minutes and I have 40 emails that I'm trying to go through to try to touch bases. I just struggle to see how you guys, recognizing how busy you guys are at the ceremonial guard, right? I struggle to see that you're just sitting at your computer and able to read every single email that comes through in the time that it comes through.
It's hard. Right? I went 3 days without reading emails this week.
I mean, and I'm not
That's probably where they put out the town hall.
No, look, I did a skim for that. I did a skim for that one.
Yeah. I'm saying like, you gotta.
I did a skim. Oh yeah. I made sure.
You just gotta communicate people a lot of different ways, because most of our sailors are going so many different directions, man. It ain't the 90s no more.
Or they just don't care until you be like, hey,
all right, now
this.
The gerbils,
18 minutes in those. Make sure we got a lot of topics with it.
The gerbils, right? I'm at work. I'm in ceremonial hall. I pull my phone out, right? We about to go to lunch, me and a couple chiefs. I pull my phone out. I look at Facebook, right? A couple of my sellers friend request me. So I see in my seller story, one of the sellers at the command got a gerbil in his breast pocket, right? But it's at the command. Like I'm in the background, it's space that's at my command. It's a fucking gerbil.
Bro.
So I walk directly. I walk directly to the space and they doing quarters. They doing like company quarters. And I'm like, hey, I don't know who need to hear this, but you can't have a gerbil at work. Then it was like, we got a tank and everything, CMC. Like it was a gerbil tank and everything. So we PCS'd the gerbil yesterday, man. We PCS'd the gerbil yesterday. Context, all ceremonial guard sellers are straight out of boot camp, never go to A school, don't know nothing about the Navy. Every day you learn the new things that you need to teach them.
As a prior RDC, full install of gerbils and hamsters wasn't talked about at boot camp. I ain't trying to hear that. Why you bring it down?
Y'all talked about gerbils?
I had a sailor.
Y'all talked about gerbils?
No, we did not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lord.
It's almost as crazy as a gold velvet do-rag. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. We transition right smooth into that.
You like that? Yes.
Solid.
Yes.
Spot. Let's go.
What's up with him, man? You talk for him. He OS.
But no, we got the intros though. You gotta get the pleasantries out.
How do you add that and then go to intros?
We have Lieutenant Commander Bonner and
he stayed at intros.
I'm about 30.
Siri. So he was here.
No, he's commander now.
Y'all promoted by the
he's
by
commander.
The way, just
So
so
he's
y'all
commander
aware.
now.
Yeah,
Commander Bonner, Frank Siri Bonner, he was here before. We had a great time, great conversation. We're going to have a great time, great conversation again. Been looking forward to this one. Last time we linked up was at Commander Walker's ceremony. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. We also have Commander Walker back on the episode again. A hero of the week 3 episodes ago. A hero of the week in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're gonna get into the last time we talked. The last time we talked, you were on your way on a deployment. You know, you came back from that. So I want to get into that too. I think it's only right before we get into that to kind of finish what Aaron just threw into the mix. This grenade he just threw into the mix, and I also think
the velvet grenade he just threw into the mix. Gotcha.
And I also think it's only right that Aaron kind of brings it up. What's up?
So on the socials, there is a picture of a chief in his summer whites leaving what appears to be a on-base package, not package store, the exchange.
It's a package store. We profiling him. It was a package store.
Okay, all right. So he's leaving, and in the back you can see 3 for $7 monsters, a great deal. But anyway, the picture
3 for $7
he had
monsters
on
crazy.
Yeah, the picture he appeared to be wearing some UGG boots.
Yeah, slides
and a tightly wound gold velvet do-rag.
Gotta protect your hair, man.
Yeah. So hit the socials. First place I saw it was in various chief of GOAT pages, and the outrage was there. And then you had in the comments, right in the pit fire, you had, "Oh my God, disgraceful." Then you had comments of as if we don't get enough heat in the mess already. And then you had we, and that's for interpretation, got to hear enough. Now look at this. And then it's viral. It's probably on NAMP compliance.
It is.
And all
that's
things.
like the first place. Yeah, that's the first
So
place.
it is the most viral picture in the Navy right now, Navy socials right now.
Did y'all see what his hair looked like after he took the cap off? Was the waves really swimming? Was it worth the
I hope so.
I'm not going there. No,
malfunction?
sir. No.
I'm just curious. I mean, like a lot of times in this job, man, you got to think about like, is the risk worth? You know, is the risk worth? Like let's do a risk assessment. Like, what was this risk assessment?
I did not.
I got a bright gold do-rag on.
Velvet.
I'm gonna go to a place where a lot of military people at, and nothing's gonna happen. Like,
what they
come
call
on.
it? Rat coats.
And he had black socks on. And he had black socks.
He had to accessorize. He had to coordinate.
I didn't.
It's something else.
It went to gold anchors. Had
And the watch. The watch.
Had the gold watch, the gold do-rag, the gold anchors. The man was accessorizing. He had
was
to
accessorizing.
coordinate.
To answer a
You see
serious
Buddy
question,
in the back. You see Buddy in the
I didn't check the structural integrity of his waves. I didn't get a chance to check that.
Yeah. You see dude in the back looking at him like, yo, dude's like a warrant officer. I could tell he like an old warrant officer, man.
All right. So let me ask this. When you first saw the picture, what rate did you think he was?
He had to be either CS or OS.
Oh, rate?
Oh, really?
I can't do that. I have an answer. I can't do that. I can't do that.
He was a CS or OS, but he was in supply. He was even in supply because his uniform.
Okay, I was wrong. My guess was wrong. You
had him at an aviation joint?
No. I didn't think it was an aviation joint.
What was it?
I thought my time in the Navy, I just remember the most like just aggressive, thuggish people, and I hate to use that word, but the most people that just like we gonna get this work done no matter what. Was my BM family, man. They just didn't care. I just thought that was like a super salty bosun mate who was like, "Hey, these circumstances that you don't understand what I'm doing right now, and why I did it was perfectly reasonable. And when you understand why I did it, it all makes sense." And I'd be like, "All right, BMC, you got it."
I'm joking about OS because Aaron used to be an OS, but it would like supply and deck are top 2 departments for that type of behavior.
What rate did you think it was though? Damon, what do you think? What rate?
I don't know, man. I was thinking it was some short duty stuff, man. I was thinking like air traffic controller or something. I was thinking outside.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a curveball.
They gonna hate me for that one, boy. They gonna come at me for that one, boy.
Hey, increase the AC hate. Yes,
you could validate that though. That man need to be comfortable and
his feet were comfortable. Sir, what do you think? Commander Walker, what do you think?
Man, that was wild.
That was wild.
I heard some full. I guess one of the new phrases. That was some nasty work.
Yeah.
The definitely topsider. Definitely a topsider. Topsider, sure duty type. Them the only ones that are that comfortable, that relaxed, think that nobody see them.
I said I thought he retired. I thought he was retired.
He must have been D214 certified.
There's a chance.
I thought
there's a chance it's a retiree. There's a chance.
Yeah.
Because retirees can wear the beards now and all that kind of stuff. So
I thought he retired that day. But and some people saying they know. I thought he was leaving his retirement.
He just left the ceremony.
He left the fitting. He was getting a fitting. He was getting his whites let out and taken in, and he was gonna change in the car.
AI. I actually thought it was AI.
Nah, bro. The way he was walking, I heard the music in the background.
Definitely that wasn't no AI.
Oh man.
What you thought he was?
I wish he was AI.
Well, I thought he was one of mine, and then I ran my sources, and I got strong IAW that he is, in fact, an OS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like, that tracks.
What made you run sources on this story, man?
Sources come to me, man. I run sources, man. That's part of being CMC. You got to get ground level truth. You got to build that picture's OS in me. I like to build a real ramp, a real good picture. You know what I'm saying? So I build sources, man.
See, we talked about callbacks earlier. This was about to be a callback to our conversation we just had about running our sources to figure out what's going on with this damn barracks town hall.
I get snitches, yes, all day, yes.
Hey, Commander Walker, the last time you were on here, right? You were on your way out on your last deployment on the DDG, USS Stout, right? Got to represent. So you were on your way on your last deployment. We talked about it. We talked about how you felt, and just how you felt going on that deployment, how you felt leaving that ship. That deployment, a lot more happened than even I could think of what happened on that deployment. Y'all were actually in the fight. And I'm just trying to get some thoughts from you. First of the deployment as a whole, but also the hindsight coming off of that deployment, like how it felt like comparative to going in. Because I mean, you know what you kind of think you're going to figure out, but then new things kind of happen as you're going. So like just how was that last deployment for you?
That deployment definitely was the most challenging and most rewarding experience to date. The sailors that were on my team, just super proud at how they accepted the challenge, accepted the call. I did a all hands call maybe about not a town hall, an all hands call on the flight deck. Maybe the day after USS Carney shot some missiles. And I think that moment in time, our triad, we leveraged that moment to give them some reality about what the rest of our training cycle meant. We had transitioned from being ready to do something based on how our scenarios go in training, to no, it's real stuff happening over there. So we got to be ready to go. And to see them respond the way they did, was it was the best time ever. Had some highs, had some lows. But first of all, getting everybody back home was my number one priority from the first day I took command. So for me, that was my mission accomplishment banner. And then to see folks finding their purpose, re-enlisting, determining what matters most to them, seeing that maturity, that growth for 300 sailors was the best part.
Yeah, you got a photo, right? I think you know what photo I'm talking about. It's a photo of you walking. I think you on your ship, but like old McPon's behind you. That photo is that thing right there.
That's the retirement joint.
Frame that joint look, and you look like Terminator on that joint.
that picture had Griselda album cover vibes, man.
Yeah, like what's up? What was that day? What was that? You know what photo we talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So when we were coming back, it was the day before return to home port. So we was off of vacapes. And as part of the return, VCNO, MCPON, Striker Commander, all visited the ship to tell the crew thank you for the great work that they done. And so one of my DRC reps for the return reunion stuff, she was up on the bridge for their flight operations with XO. Because me and the CMC and I went down to aft missile deck to welcome the official party, and so she took that picture from the bridge, from the starboard bridge wing, and sent it to me. And she was like, She said the same thing. She's like, "This is an album cover. This is an album cover." Yeah. And so it was definitely an inspirational moment for sure. It was a proud moment for me as a CEO as well, for that moment in time to have, that leadership kind of train. And so just wanted to be a little transparent and share that on social media, because to me it was a powerful message about leadership at different echelons, how it all matters. MCPON plays a role, VCNO plays a role, your Striker Commander plays a role, the CO plays a role, and behind them was the CMC as well, and just a total team effort to make things happen, and then to get a hero's welcome for the crew, for the VCNO and MCPON, which is icing on the cake.
Was it windy?
I mean, it was underway, so
yeah. I mean, because your expression, like it just looked that a picture's worth 1,000.
No, words. I was locked. I was just locked in, man. I was on mission. Cool. I was on task, man. I was the lead engine for getting that official party from the flight deck to our first meeting spot in my cabin. So I was just on mission.
Yeah. So did you see her taking a picture when he was walking?
No, it was candid, man. I was narrowly focused.
Because the walk you had, it looked like it was like Denzel, Man on Fire, or what was the joint with Russell Crowe?
American Gangster.
Yeah, like American Gangster. He's walking with Idris. He's like, it's just like, I'm about to kill him with this. I'm about to go hard with this. Boom.
I move. You asked any of my sailors, I move with purpose.
Yeah.
I move with purpose.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
Mississippi. Yeah. You see, David?
Hey, I got a question for you, Commander, real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to stay on this deployment thing real quick.
Yeah.
When you was out there on deployment, when did you like, hey, this deployment gonna be different? Right? I know we all been on a lot of deployments and things like that, but I want to know when you know, hey, this shit gonna be a little bit different.
I knew it was going to be different when we split off. We traveled as a strike group across the Atlantic, and then it's like the minute we got in the Sixth Fleet, all the different assets started going different directions. So even in Sixth Fleet, I'd already gotten some time operating as a single ship, still under the strike group, but there was this aggregate operations kind of allowed me to stretch the crew in what our priorities were going to be and how we were going to do different things. Because we practice a lot of that stuff on Comp2X, and Comp2X is a great training process. It's mostly for the warfare commanders to get their reps and sets. And at the unit level, you're not really doing a whole lot at that level other than just meeting mission and prioritizing stuff for the warfare commanders. But we were purposeful in that time. And so when we got the Sixth Fleet and kind of split off to do different things, that was just some advanced level reps and sets of eventually being in the Fifth Fleet. And I had deployed the Fifth Fleet multiple times before. Most aptly my time as ops on the Kearney because it was independent deployer. And so I already had reps and sets on being by myself as department head. And I had a great mentor, my CO at that time, who really poured into me as well in how to think about different things. And so for me, that's when it happened. So by the time we went through the Suez Canal, we were already locked in from my perspective.
Yeah. Hey, I want to also bring the listeners up to, since we kind of getting the listeners up to speed, right? Because this, we had both of y'all on before. I want to bring the listeners up to speed with now Commander Bonner. So congratulations on that, right? Last time it was Lieutenant Commander, right? So congrats on that. And you got a pretty interesting job right now, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I can talk about my job. I give you the quick answer, but I want to share a story with y'all, man. I've been waiting all week to share this story, but I'm going to tell you about my job. I'm the Navy's flyover coordinator for the East Coast. So anytime you see a Navy airplane in a public domain on the East Coast, I work for a 2-star admiral, and I basically control all of that. So think flyovers at Arlington National Cemetery, flyovers at Super Bowl, President Carter's funeral, where we had the second Navy funeral or state funeral for a president. That was my job to organize the aviation aspect of that. We're looking at some other events that are coming here in the future that I won't draw attention to until after they happen, but they're kind of big deals. So I get the opportunity to just plan, coordinate, make sure all entities are on the same page. But that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for the story, man?
Yeah, let's go.
Look, I just love hanging out with y'all on this podcast, man. I've been waiting to tell y'all this story all week, man. I want to give my own personal award on y'all podcast. I know that's probably unprecedented, but it's about to happen today, okay? I want to give my Gangster of the Week award, okay? I want to give the Gangster of the Week award to my daughter, Journey Bonner, y'all. Let me tell you about this situation that just occurred. And I'll try to make it as quick as possible, y'all. So all I want, and y'all probably can relate to this as a father, you just want your kids to just find a purpose. Am I out to lunch with that? You want them to find a purpose. You want them to just do better than you have done, right? So in this journey and being a parent, sometimes it gets a little tough. And I found myself telling my daughter, hey, I'm going to need to let life just beat you around a little bit. You can no longer live in my house. You got to go out there and you got to figure it out. You know, one of the most difficult things I ever had to do.
Context question. One context question. How old is she?
Let's get it. She's 21.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, I mean, 16, I don't know if I'd do that. I'd probably think twice, but yeah. Now she's 21, okay. And we've kind of done a great job of just kind of solving some problems and stuff for her. And so she's out there just bumping her head, figuring it out, struggling with college, all that other good stuff. And I'm walking with my wife. My wife is like, hey, I want more than anything for my daughter to come back into the house. And I'm trying to convince her, hey, we just need to give her time to figure it out. Man, if you ever want to make God laugh, show him your plans, right? So me and my wife are trying to make the best out of our daughter being out of the house. We're like, hey, we're just going to travel a little more. We're going to just live and pour into each other. And my wife is saying, we want to do this because we're never going to have grandchildren. The next day, my daughter has a healthy 5-pound baby boy. Not 9 months later, the next day. Follow me. We didn't know my daughter was pregnant. My daughter didn't know she was pregnant. And how can I confirm this? Because she had the child in a bathroom. After having the child in the bathroom, she managed to realize, baby's not crying. I need to clear his airway. Clears the airway, baby starts crying. Now I got to cut the umbilical cord. Since she's in the bathroom, she finds a pair of hair scissors that she cuts the umbilical cord with. Oh, there's blood and stuff coming out of it. I need to stop this from happening. I'm going to take a hair clip and a scrunchie and I'm going to tighten this down. And that's how I'm going to stop this from happening on both sides. And then she calls for help to go to the hospital after the baby's already here. This is the same person who couldn't register for college classes by herself, but she somehow knew how to deliver a baby. She has my vote for Gangster of the Week, man. I'm just saying, like that is the craziest freaking story. There's so many ways that could have went wrong. So many ways that could have went wild. But the reality is that in the moment that she needed to figure it out, she did. And she had enough blessings on her back to figure that out. So I just want to offer that, give her a Bravo Zulu publicly as possible. And that's a weird story. Y'all know we don't talk about that kind of stuff unless it involves aircraft carriers back in the day. We won't talk about that. But man, that's just the wild. So I'm a grandpa, man. And that's the biggest change since the last time I was on a podcast, man. I'm now grandpa Siri.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Yeah, again, congrats. But yeah, you're right. She do get that Gangster of the month. And that was like, that was crazy.
I got 2 questions. My first question is, where was she when she had the baby?
She had moved out and she had moved in with a friend. And she was staying with a friend alone, probably about a good 20, 30 minutes from where we stay.
My next question is she back home now?
Oh, yes. Yeah, literally.
Okay.
Yeah. My metric was, hey, you're gonna have to do a lot of work, before you get back into this house. I think pushing out a baby in a bathroom by yourself qualifies as enough work. You good. Come back home. I got you.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. She got my vote.
That was incredible. I mean, that was an incredible story. Let's go back to this deployment real quick, because so you come off of this deployment, and I want to get deeper into this deployment too, because it's some people that's going out now for different deployments and that know already what they looking at. So some of them might be good with some perspective from a CEO that's actually been out there. But before we go back in there, I want to talk about after that. So I went to your Stockdale Leadership Award ceremony. Had the pleasure of connecting with Siri at that ceremony as well, and a few other people. What was that process like? When did you know that you were in the running for that? Like, how did that work out?
You don't. You have no idea. You literally have no idea. You don't know which CO nominate, and that's the only 05 sitting 05 COs across all the URL communities can submit a peer. It's a peer nominated award. And like Fleet Forces and Pac Fleet, I'm not Fleet Forces and Atlantic and Pacific Fleet, they'll put out the P4 message to all the COs asking for nominations, and you can, I think from the message, if I remember correctly, it's 100 words or less for the nomination, and you send that. And then what I found on the back end is the records get pulled, rack and stack some stuff, and then one from each coast gets picked, and CNO signs off on it. But I didn't find out until I got the phone call from Vice Admiral Gumbleton, which is a crazy story. How I found out, I've actually missed his phone call. Had the phone on Do Not Disturb, going back to Aaron's question. And hey, I'm sorry, I don't talk to Vice Admirals on the daily, so he wasn't in my filter that gets through the DNB. And so, but I had a voicemail that popped up the next morning, and I was like, oh, crap. So I shot him a text, sir, sorry, I wasn't tracking. It was at home, blah, blah, blah. It was too easy. Let's talk tomorrow morning on Sunday. So Sunday morning, a Sunday morning, I forgot which one now, but a Sunday morning, he called me and let me know, congratulations, I had won the Atlantic Fleet Force Command Stockdale Award. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you didn't even know you were nominated until you got that phone call?
Nope.
Damn.
No clue.
Yeah, and one more time, we did it on an episode when you weren't around, but congratulations. Well, I saw you, of course, but congratulations again. Like leaders
Appreciate
don't, leaders, it's only about 1, 2, 3, 4 awards leaders win, so leaders don't always, get like, it's a thankless job. Leaders don't always get acknowledgement for what they do. And a lot of leaders that do get acknowledgement, it's still a team thing. Like even when you got up there and gave your acceptance speech, it was still my CMC, I know I won't be up here without you. My crew, I know I won't be up here without you, kind of thing. And
100.
it has to be that as a leader, right? Always. What was one of your favorite moments? Your favorite crew moments on that last deployment? Like one of the moments that your crew made you most proud.
One story that is really sticking with me. I would call it definitely a core memory. Shortly after I'd taken command, I had a sailor that was struggling with some stuff, and the circumstances and how I came to the ship, required me to really do a deep dive and a hard look at everything across the board, bow to stern, tack hand to keel, and but this particular sailor, I didn't want to give up on him just yet. I wanted to do my own assessment. I wouldn't want to just take everybody else's input and just say, give up on this sailor. So I directed this sailor to take some personal actions, and I won't get into which categories. I don't want to single them out. But I had to direct them to go get some help. I just put it like that. Mm-hmm. They got the help, came back, and 18 months later is on the strike team, launch Tomahawks. And for me, that matters because if I had given up on that sailor back then, that path to recovery to then be a part of history like that, my decision would have taken that moment from them.
Damn.
Hey, I got a question off that, sir. So I'll make a plug for Captain Cordell's book, right?
Oh, yeah.
And here's a chapter talking about crew endurance. Mm-hmm. So we're tracking the forward. We knew about ships on the way during COVID, right? And you're doing operations. Can you speak to like what your messaging was about endurance, even having to endure challenges, enduring things? Like what's the mindset or your opinion now on what it means to have crew endurance and individual endurance?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the deployment, then go back. So at about, I'd say probably month 6 or maybe month 7 of the deployment, I knew I was personally tired and fatigued. But my chaps came in and he was like, Boston Marathon, 26 miles. You're on mile 21, and mile 21 is the hardest. And you just got to keep powering through because you know how to finish the race. And that was the first part. And then him telling me that reminded me because I had forgotten all the investments we had done going back to basic phase where we wasn't sure about how our circadian rhythm is going to work because you're in and out all the time. We didn't know what kind of battle run we wanted to have through, Comp2X. But what I do know is because we tried and failed at different things across the ships, because, engineers got to watch rotation. It's different than combat systems. That's different in supply. That's different from admin. That's different from operations. And so because you got these 5.5, 6 different departments that have their own battle rhythms, you got to come up with a circadian rhythm that works as best it can for the most people. And then you got to flip that and also communicate the shared sacrifice. It's not, I got to build a circadian rhythm that helps everybody. I got to build a circadian rhythm that helps the ship. And then what's going to be for the ETs, what's going to be your shared sacrifice to make this work? LSs, what's going to be your shared sacrifice to make this work? GSM, GSEs, what's going to be your shared sacrifice to make this work? And because we did the reps and sets through the whole training cycle, by the time we deployed, we knew what we wanted. And so I made very small changes to what our battle rhythm was by the time we deployed, because we had figured out all the kinks. Which then that became the investment in the crew endurance, because by the time we deployed, by rate, by person, they knew when their workout times would be, they knew when their sleep times would be, they knew when the meal times would be, they knew the store hours. Like stock control had a day shift and a night shift, so engineers could get parts at night, CE division could get parts in the daytime. It was the team came together and figured out what was the ship's battle rhythm, and then peanut butter spread that sacrifice, and then because we all was in it together, that's what made it work.
Yeah, sorry, you said something, I wrote it down, I put an asterisk next to it, about communication. So communicate, share, sacrifice. So doing those workups and those long hours, I think that's something that's underemphasized, because people engineering, we doing all this, ops doing this, and everyone feels like their respective battles, it could lead to like, we're doing more than you. But if you communicate evenly, that kind of puts that you communicate, that puts everybody on the same sheet of music. So I put asterisks on that. And last thing I'll say, and I'll pass it back. You talked about failure. So going back to Captain Cordell's book, he talking about crew sleep, crew rest, and circadian rhythm, right? Sometimes, like, if you're too early in the mindset, you're a martyr. If you're right on time, you're kind of like the hero. You got a lot of failure. You like, what's the acronym? First step in learning. In order to get to that piece, you have to fail multiple times.
Absolutely.
In order to get the lessons learned. You can't be risk averse leadership or as a person. So, yeah. Communication is key. We joked about it in jest, but yeah, I wrote that down. You got to communicate, your share, your sacrifice, so you appreciate each other more as a team.
I like your definition of fair, to be honest with you. I think we talked about this last time I was on the podcast, but I like your definition of fair being what's best for the ship, right? That's like a really awesome banner when we all know that we all need the ship to survive. We all have the shared goal of making sure the ship is the best it can be. When you start peanut butter spreading that sacrifice, and fair is what's best for the ship, I understand what my portion of sacrifice looks like. So that was, I like that.
Yeah, because then going back to your point about, I work harder than you. Sometimes our evals and fit reps and our individual goals feed kind of that cynicism too. But if all things considered, what I found to be the most important is over communicating the team aspect. Like, and I don't know if I said this in the last time we did the podcast, but if the engineers say that they're the hardest working folks in the Navy, that's cool. I'm not going to take that from you from motivation perspective. But what I do know is if PS2 don't process a travel claim right, then you ain't going to get paid. And so, and you just complaining about PS2 not doing your travel claim when you got to fill out the form correctly and then turn it in, that ain't PS2's fault. You didn't fill out the form correctly. But then you want to not get your guy checked in admin first. You want to take him straight to the plant and do the check-in stuff later. But now you pissed off that the sailor BAH ain't started 3 months in. And now I got a CO suggestion box because the BAH ain't right. But the first 30 days, you didn't make sure they went do the check-in.
Yeah.
But the engineers work harder than the admin. So come on, miss me with that. Everybody work hard. It's just a matter of perspective. Choose your rate, choose your fate. But there's still a shared sacrifice. Because you ain't getting no food if supply don't do that part.
Yeah. I was just going to say, sending somebody straight to the plant is crazy work. That's insane.
It's a lot. It happens.
Hey, yo,
you happens.
I need fuel samples
too.
It happens.
But you cover
like, here's your rack. We'll do your check-in next week. We about to go do a fuel transfer, so you need to come get this work real quick.
Oh yeah.
Damon know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Shit, I know 100%. Too. But so I got a question. My question is, I got a thing, right? So this conversation we were just having, it's at a leadership level. And I really like it. And when you think about that book, Lincoln on Leadership, Lincoln talked about, metaphorically like going to the deck place, right? Going out with his guys out in the field and figuring them out. But then Lincoln still had to make decisions from that leadership level, right? So what this whole conversation made me think about is the SIM-BBA discussion that we had, because a lot of people get opinionated about SIM-BBA, and the thing they not thinking about is the viewpoint that these people are looking at. And the viewpoint that these people are looking at is like a bird's eye view. They looking at the end result, like total numbers. They not looking at every anecdotal situation that's happening. So when we talking to like Captain Harmon or something, and he like, yeah, this is at a 95%, right? And then people like, well, SIM-BBA is failing. It's like, no, it's not failing. It's not failing. It's actually working, right? So I think sometimes people, they get a skew view. Another thing that comes along with that view, and I'm in a room with a whole bunch of leaders, is you see things from a way bigger scope. And I got a question for each of y'all. And it's a pretty, I think, an intimate question a little bit. What makes a single sailor, right, stand out? And this whole conversation made me think about this question. When y'all, and I'm talking about a young junior sailor, because I got CMCs in here, I got commanders in here, and y'all, we doing a mission. We looking at things from the scope, from the bird's eye view, and we could all say we love all our sailors because we do. We love all our departments. We love all our divisions. We love all our companies because we do. What makes that sailor stand out to y'all though?
Easy for me, man. That's stuff I talk about all the time, man. It's effort and attitude, right? Because you got good effort and you got a good attitude, man. People gonna want to come. They want to help you, right? Nobody want to be around nobody that's lazy as fuck. Nobody want to be around nobody with a bad attitude, right? So I think it all starts with effort and attitude. When it starts there, then you can build on it, right? You can build on effort and attitude with getting your qualifications because somebody got to help you there, right? And all these other things that plays a part. But I think it all starts there for me when it comes to standing out because no one want to deal with you otherwise.
And that's like real time. Like you've had sailors stand out recently, right? Like you see sailors and you admire them like in real time, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Aaron?
I'm going to quote my guy, CMC Chuck Stegall. His acronym is MOGAS. And the gas is just give a shit. To me, that stands out. Just to have a sincere level of giving you know what for that.
You didn't say it
stands
twice.
out to me.
You could say it 3 times. You could.
More give a shit? Okay.
Yeah, you can say it.
Thank you. Well, right on brand. Thank you, sir. Right on brand. But yeah, just sincere give a shit 4 times. 5 times, Booker T. Yeah, sincere give a shit about the job. Because it's just having a level of give a damn, it's not common and it should be. So just giving a damn, having some give a shit about it. That stands out to me.
If you don't give up, we don't give up. What about you, Siri?
Things that make a sailor stand out to me. I mean, you guys definitely hit some good ones, and I hate to piggyback off of them. But if I were to take the things you said and add a thing that maybe hasn't exactly been discussed presently, we were talking about failure a second ago, and I think the word I'm looking for is resiliency. A lot of what we're doing in the Navy many times over is either the first time it's been done by this team or something that looks like it's entirely too big to be eaten in one bite. We're going to fail at some point in time. The sailor who is like, I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to just continue to try to educate myself and grow so that I can make this problem go away. Because from a leader's perspective, we're trying to manage multiple problems at any given time. And so it's hard to sometimes keep the bubble on 7 to 10 different problems, but it becomes easier when you have someone working the problem. So if I leave it and I come back to check and to see what barriers I can remove, and you are actively working it and you're like, hey, I didn't get it, but here are the barriers I've come up against, and this is the help I need. Man, that makes that stands out so many different ways when most people are just, I can't say most people because that's not my experience as of recently, but there are a lot of people who are just ready to quit at the first obstacle. So that resiliency in terms of the problem allows me to actually be a leader instead of a technician.
Hey, can I go back to something that Commander Walker said? that ties in what you said, Siri. When Sir was talking about, you said something I wrote down. You said, I think Chap said it to you with the Boston Marathon reference. You know how to finish the race. So if you run this race and you hit a hurdle, like what Siri's saying, if you know how to finish the race, you're able to dust yourself off, get to that tough mile to get to mile 13 or mile 26 or a month, whatever of the deployment. I think that's a key part of endurance and resilience piece that you talked about.
Yeah.
And for me, something that makes a sailor stand out, officer or enlisted, is their ability, resiliency, a little plainer would be the ability to bounce back. I think that's important, whether it's a positive or a negative, like the sailor that goes to the NJP and learns the lesson and moves forward from that, and not just blame the Navy for taking their pay for 2 months. No, they take the lesson on board and do something with it. Conversely, the officer that shows up to their first ship and after going through a training pipeline, and they're not just about getting their quals. They're about trying to learn what it takes to run a division while also working on their quals. I think that's the kind of stuff that helps people stand out for me, because that's where trust and confidence comes from me observing you over time, at any level, and that over time piece is where you start filtering folks out. It's like if over time I can't depend on you, I'm going to stop depending on you and just count you out. And that's not my fault. That's your fault, because you gave me enough data to count you out. Conversely, because I can call on you and you don't always get it right, but you come back every time, I'm more likely to call on you because you stand out.
Yeah. For me, it's the ownership piece. I'm starting to love people that take something and it's theirs,
Absolutely.
And they run it to ground. Like I'm starting to love that. Like, where it's like you might have came to me and had an idea, like, hey, CMC, I want to do this. And I'm like, all right, go ahead. Right. And then they come back with a product that's very close to hitting hitting the shelves. It might be like one or two things that we had to do, but also ownership in when things happen. Right. When things happen, that's starting to be like one of my harder traits, like on myself, because I practice the extreme ownership. So I feel like I own a piece of everything. Right. So even when things go wrong, like I'm looking at it like that, I could have did this different, and somebody else has owed that conversation. So I love when people own things, especially their faults. When they are able to deliver that bad news and able to say exactly what it is that they could have done better the first time, like that's a thing that makes. And then on the next thing I love is, I can't lie, I love a cocky seller. I love a seller that just know that they good and they going, and they back it up every time. Like I love that. It's, to me, like, go ahead.
I like a confident sailor. I've taken cocky out for me because the cocky implies they're going to be too much of a risk taker. Like when they don't own the risk. Whereas a confident person has that same gas, but they're going to cross-check some stuff before they do it. And so that's my...
Yeah, that might be...
There's a razor's edge of confidence and arrogance, right?
Yeah. So, you don't want an arrogant EM. You get an arrogant EM, man. An arrogant electrician.
You lost all they see.
Arrogant electric. Don't ask me how I did it.
Yeah.
What's the little quote? Don't ask me how I did it. I did it.
Yeah. Hey, Damo, I'm going to throw a question out made for a pivot. We talking about leadership extensively, as we always do, right? So I'll put in our notes about ELD. It's been about 6 years since ELD was rolled out. We kind of left some conversation off from a previous conversation about ELD. I think with Akita. Yeah, right. So 6 years in of ELD, right? It's a requirement. It's there. What are your thoughts? Everyone's thoughts on ELD? Is it effective? Pros and cons, lessons learned. What's your experience with ELD?
Go ahead, Damon.
Damon didn't want no parts of that convo, man.
You know what, man? I gotta. Hey, look. Let me tell you real quick about ELD for me, man. Like in the beginning, man, I was just sending sailors to ELD because I know it was a requirement for them. I didn't know what was going on in ELD. I didn't know anything about it. And I was already a Master Chief, right? So now I'm like, you know what, man? I'm finna be a fucking CMC. Let me go through this Chief, ELD so I can at least know what the hell going on in these courses and things like that. So I went through as a Master Chief when I went through it. And I'm gonna say this about it, man. Like it's almost like everything else. Over time, it's gonna become a check in the box, I think. Right? Because some of the same information, when it first started, I felt like, oh man, this is some new information. And then when you start at, from E1 to E3, it's that information. It's a building block. But a lot of that stuff, some of that, I ain't gonna say all of it, but some of that stuff start to be the same damn thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's building on it, but you are talking about some of the same things as you build up to it. And then it started being redundant. Then it started being, I'm here. And that's just my point. That's my opinion about it. But ELD, do I think it's a great course? Yeah, I think it's a good course. I think it's a starting point, but I think we need to do more too, though, when it comes to leadership.
Yeah. Come on, Aaron. All these faces, man. Let's get it, man.
All right. So, you said it, and Damon just said it about how maybe there's little variation from.
I ain't say nothing.
Okay. All right. You didn't. So there could be something different.
Hey, come at it, Walker. You see what I've got go through? Like, I really didn't say nothing, right? Like,
man, y'all are worse than soap operas, man.
That's my guy. I love him. That's what we do.
Drama each week.
Fire and water, oil and water, whatever. All right. There's little difference between each level for ILDC, FLDC, ILDC, CPO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost full acronyms, right? I think you always have to revisit stuff and recalibrate on it. Mm-hmm. So that my thought about saying is like, the book is always going to be different on the second and third read.
Oh.
So if you go through something here, it's different at every level. So I think, maybe you need to keep it the same, but then based off the group and facilitators, it changes the flavoring of.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, how long you been in the Navy?
25.
25. So you might get this. Damon, how long you been in?
June to be 27.
June be 27. And Damo?
19.
19. Okay, so you the baby in the bunch. That makes a lot of sense too. So
I don't know what that means, but I'm offended. I don't know what that means, but taking
we'll
it
come back to that later. Hey, I stay ready. But so I've been in it'll be 30 years in July.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to my first ship and going to Petty Officer NDOC
mm-hmm.
as an E3 as a requirement to put on E4. Right? And then somewhere in time while I was in college after doing State 21, Petty Officer NDOC went away
mm-hmm.
because there was no value in it. It was repetitive. All the same stuff y'all are saying now. And so you got to ask yourself, the leaders that were in place to bring ELD back, that's all they did. They remembered what they did when they was in E4. And instead of us calling it Petty Officer NDOC, we call it ELD. And we got it for different pay grades. I'm contextualizing it like that because to me, that is the point. We talk out of both sides of our neck. We want sailors as they go up their ladder
mm-hmm.
for their rate and in the career to get these different levels of experience or training. But then because it's building blocks and some of it feels repetitive, we devalue it, not understanding that when I did the training in 2021, I didn't do ELD then, but when I say this, when I was an XO and my first group of E6s went through their ELD course, it was a game changer for them. But for me, when I saw the curriculum, I was like, that's exactly what you needed to know, because I remembered what it like to be a second class, first class.
Yeah.
And so now, 4 years later, I think most of those sailors that went there first class, they're all chiefs now.
Or officers in some cases.
Or an officer. And so what I don't need is the folks that went through it in the beginning, because that narrative is repetitive for you at this new point in time. That sailor 5 years ago that was a third class, he's now a first class. He or she is now a first class. So this will be their first time getting it. And so we as leaders have to shift our paradigm or our mindset from it's the same thing for me, as opposed to it's their turn to get better insight and awareness on what all this stuff is. And so that's the piece that frustrates me is we build in this stuff to build up our people over time. But then when we get to a certain higher level, we then say everything's repetitive. Well, no, it's not repetitive. It's the annual requirement. It's a thing for a reason, because as the next crop comes in, you want them to gain the benefit of the feedback of the changes to be even better, so that learning curve is actually flatter. Over.
Yeah.
So my thoughts is this on it. I think that as time progresses, we need to take a hard look at everything, right? Like we need to look at, like, if you got a car, right? As time progresses, you need to open up the hood. You need to, like, you don't need to change nothing in your car, but you might need to fill up some oils, you do some maintenance, right? And a lot of these programs get reviewed every year. I don't know how much with ELD, how much is getting reviewed every year, but I just think just pouring a little bit into it as we go and progress to build upon it. Like, for instance, ELD got a lot to do with ethics, right? Ethics and morality and stuff like that. And one of the more applicable things you learn in there is how to do a proper counseling, right? Am I tripping? Or you learn how to do a proper counseling.
Yeah, with the communication piece.
Like you actually learn how to give counseling, right? You state the standard, right? It's steps to giving counseling, right? You start with stating the standard, and they run through every scenario, right? Either the seller doesn't know, either the seller, it's a whole bunch of different reasons. I think adding a few more of those real world scenario-based trainings into ELD also helps the sellers. So that's kind of my thoughts on ELD.
I want to add this. The real world scenarios, right? I think I've seen it where the facilitators, because it's a facilitated conversation, they do have a wider berth to put experiences. Every time when I come down as a CMC and give my words during ELD, I reference, hey, don't go through the motions. In my day, we had Perros Indoc. Yeah. And I kind of bring some things there. Second thing I'll say is all of us have been through the gauntlet of leadership courses. So for me, I could say I've been through Perros Indoc. I've been through the ELD as a facilitator and as a student. Yeah. I've been through Get Real, Get Better. The Felix course. SCA, all of us. CMC Cobb. I have not been through ODS. I'm not an officer. What I'm getting at is that we cannot undervalue, like you said, the ethics. You could have this great technical person, but they're the worst teammate or the worst leader you have because they have not been poured into with the soft skills and the intangibles. And many times, those kneecap conversations require a person to be able to relate, to go down ground level truth, and to come up and to share experience and to also take relevancy from a young person. So it's a common thread for every course I just outlined. You got the same stuff for E1 to O whatever. Yeah. Because what's the officer keystone equivalent? Is it a flag? Help me out, sir. Flag,
like Inflex or something?
Nah, it's with
Rootless?
Keystone,
Yeah.
but it's the officer equivalent. I can't think of it.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's
No,
a flag
I'm not
thing.
sure.
But the
Yeah.
same conversations run parallel about being able to talk in the ethics piece. So
Yep.
don't undervalue it. Like you said, everything's got to get revised. The ship goes into a midlife for a reason, to repair and more importantly, get upgraded. And that still should go for curriculum as well.
Yeah, and the special sauce with ELD is supposed to be the facilitators, right? That's supposed to be the special sauce, right? When I was in ELD to be a facilitator, one of the other students seemed to like not be with the program, right? And they told him like, "Hey, man, look, if you're not with the program, we are going to kick you out of here because it matters most that you're with the program. Like, we don't care if you sit through this or none of that. We could get you out of here because we need you to be ready to go and do this, right? So, yes, it's some core principles and, core things, but you definitely need to be with the program so you could relay those real world scenarios to the sellers that you're teaching. We got a question from a seller before, because I went to all those leadership schools, like, a lot of those leadership schools too. But like me going to a lot of those leadership schools, they worked and somebody, my brain is scattered, but when you talk about ethics and you talk about morality and all of that stuff, right? That's like helping us become better leaders as people and stuff like that, right? That don't stop you from sitting in front of a computer and not knowing like how to do that though. I'm looking at you, Aaron, on the screen. but I went to CMC Cobb and I still ain't know how to use my Navy assignments. You know what I'm saying? Like I still had to learn that.
But you know how to talk to people who have that skill to leverage them.
Yeah, of course.
All
right?
day. Because
Like,
you know how to connect,
Yeah,
you know how to
of course.
compel hearts and minds.
Yeah.
That's your number one skill set at the CMC.
And if I didn't know how to do that, I wouldn't have been in CMC Cobb in the first place. I would have loved to know how to use my Navy assignments when I got about that class. Like, that's all I'm saying. Because that's what the junior seller, that was like one of our junior sellers asked a question about ELD. And we always got people that we love like running the show. I think Samara up there. But before that, it was Toby. So I didn't put the question on the episode, but his issue was like, I wish I came out of this with more resources, right? That was his only issue. He was like, I got all the morality, I got all the ethics stuff. He was like, but I wish I came out of this with more resources to do the job. Not like I'm a better human. He said that. He's like, I'm a better person, but I wish I had more resources to do the job.
What I've seen, the greatest resource we talk about is people. And like, I used to be a gifted administrator as a chief. I was told. Now I'm not as a CMC. There's too much going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's so much to just being in the room with qualified, smart people and know how to make a connection. Be like, hey, I know a guy or a gal. I can call somebody to get them going. You outsource certain things as a facilitator is leadership.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's almost like we had this conversation before. Ooh, that's crazy.
You know that and you've learned that with time, right? You know that and you learned that with time, right? It's people been in for 4 years that don't have the time. Like when I was in for 4 years, I wasn't using no resources. I was operating off technical expertise, right? Going back to another conversation that we had. Another conversation that we had.
Somebody's on message today.
I was operating on technical expertise, bro. We all of that fellowship, all of that relationship and stuff, that stuff builds as we build ourselves in the military. So when these young E4s, E5s going through a training like that and they come out saying like, hey, I still don't know how to help my seller. Like, I know how to be, but I still don't know who to call or what to do. And they doing that, Aaron. I'm not speaking for myself. Like, I see your face, bro. Like I'm speaking for the sellers that don't know. Like, it's so much stuff. Like, my Navy HR is probably one of the biggest resources there is. Like, my Navy HR is one of the big, everything is on my Navy HR. The reason why Fat Chief said he started doing videos was because a lot of people don't know. Right? Not because Aaron don't know, not because Damo don't know, not because Commander Walker don't know, not because Commander Bonner and Damon don't know. We know. But it's people out there that don't. I I plug my Navy HR on Instagram to my sellers all the time. Like, yo, y'all not following my Navy HR? Right? And not everybody out here doing nav admin Mondays, right? Not every command out here doing the nav admin roundups. And like, when I was on a cruiser, our NCC or whoever it was dropping all the nav admins that came out, pushing them down to everybody and all that. A lot of stuff like that, from what I've seen, like, don't happen as much as it used to. What's
No, the first thing when somebody asks me a question, the first thing I do is I go to my Navy HR and send them the link. I say, you need to read.
Yeah.
My Navy HR is my first thought anytime I get a question. Like before I'm finna, nothing against people, but before I invest time in you, hey, do a little quick read and then let's talk.
Yeah. Because that board, that selection board video, my bad, Damon, that selection board video that's on my Navy HR, how old is that video? It's old, right? It's a little old, right? It's over 7 years old, right? It's still people that have, it's first class is up for chief right now that did not know that existed. So imagine
it makes sense. They're not thinking about it. But but at the same time, hey chief, can you tell me about the selection board process? Because I made board. What's the selection board process look like? Hey, great question. Here's a link. Go watch these videos. But now, if a chief can't say that, you're having two different conversations right now. So when you're to me, you can't just gloss over they don't know, because there's layers to it.
Yeah, and that's also why Fat Chief is popular. Fat Chief is not popular for nothing. All he doing is reading things from nav admins that were released, and he's popular.
I think that's cool. To Siri's point, you got to say the same thing 3 times, 5 different ways, and so I would say Fat Chief is just he's augmenting or complementing what's already there, which is not a bad thing in the day and age where the attention span is what we've already talked about.
Yeah.
I call bullshit on us as people when I say us collectively. Here's what I mean by that. We put a lot of empty cartridges and wasted space into our heads. If you want to look for an excuse not to do something, you're always going to find it. And if you want to do something, you're going to find a reason to power through and do it. What am I getting at? There's too many, the smartphones, everything, for someone to say they don't know. I call bullshit, because there's someone around you who does. Just to spark their interest, right? For my checkouts, if I ask somebody for a checkout with me, I say, hey, pop quiz. If they're E5, they're about to go to follow on towards, hey, pop quiz, man. Tell me what a milpers is and that admin, how they work together. And it's not to stump the chump. I just want to equip them to think, hey, you know what? I'm about to be an LPO, or I'm about to have these certain collaterals where I need to be well-read so I can be well-spoken.
How often do they know?
I'll say 60-40, 60 they don't know, 40% they do.
So you're making my point.
I'm not disagreeing with you on how you say it, but I'm just saying we got so many cats that don't put forth effort, and the ability to do it is there. I'm trying to match expectations, but I'm still not letting us off the hook.
Let's compare apples to apples, and I may agree 100% with you because I'm not a big fan of excuses. When is the last time anybody in this group of people, with the exception of you, Des, because it's highly unlikely, when's the last time y'all set through some quarters? Anybody? I know I haven't in a while.
You said quarters?
Quarters, yeah. Y'all set through quarters? Anybody?
I played the back just to see how they do it without messing up their flow, their normal quarters.
I did it last week.
And then anybody at quarters go through the plan of the day? Anybody got a piece of paper in front of them where they got the plan of the day, or somebody's walking out of a pocket brain? What is quarters?
Was going back to, it was 70-30. More people did not put out the plan of the week or the plan of the day. And then the real successful ones, they actually put forth a quick hot 3 off the plan of the day or plan of the week.
That's wild. And then the plan of the week, right? How often do we get to the plan of the week? How often does a sailor really know what the objective is for this week, what the objective is for this day, that the commanding officer has signed off on, like that we've read through it, right? Because I remember my time walking as a junior sailor, sitting in quarters. Literally, we went from top to bottom of that plan of the day, and then we got the tasks, right? So now We all had a baseline information of what resources were available based on the way the command is putting that information out. That was one way of getting the information into us. If you had questions, you could stay behind and ask Chief the questions. Chief was going to direct me to go ahead and talk to, the career counselor to get some additional information on my off time that I may have to do. Who's going to tell me to then read the instruction? If I really cared about it, I was going to go ahead and do those things. A lot of times what I see, and I can't speak for y'all, I'm just saying what I see. Quarters is nothing more than, hey, these are the fires we need to put out right now. You, and you. All right, everybody break, go.
Yeah.
It's not a daily touch point of how I can just spoon feed you little bits of pieces of being a sailor. Because we're so busy, we have so many other things that we're doing. We all might not be prioritizing, the small sailorization on a day-to-day. So older guys like you and me who were like, okay, if you got questions, check this instruction. You got this question, look at the mill person, man. You got this question, check out Buper's instructions, such and such. These sailors aren't even being introduced to the instruction at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they got these supercomputers in their pockets that can do a lot more work. It's a whole entire Encyclopedia Britannica, but most of these young kids right now aren't using it for that. They want the information pushed. The reason the Fat Chief works is because he's pushing information.
There. Yeah, it's right there.
They don't have to pull it. They don't have to.
It's the easy button. Like I'm gonna quote Courtney. She says it's the Amazon Prime generation of thinking. I want the push button. I want it immediately, directly. Like one of the popular reel that Damo did. Right, we're talking about, hey man, I want people to read. Just don't read the fact sheet. And Kev's like, I'm going right to the fact sheet. I mean, because you're busy, right? But other people have the time to read the nav admin. They don't do it. They want it easy. Like Fat Chief does equivalent of a human walking nav admin fact sheet. I don't want to think. Just give me the quick things, right? But the separations and the preparation. The people who are successful, they stress the fundamentals. They go into the minute details.
Yeah, and the only point I'm making and what you just said is it takes people like us to help build that muscle in some of these young sailors. Like not everybody is equipped with it as soon as some people are. It's some people that come in ready to go. But then there's some people that need people like us to be like, hey man, you'll find this here, right? So whenever I talk to somebody about a uniform, I take them to my Navy HR, and I say, do you know where whenever I correct people on uniforms now, I actually ask them, like, do they know where the source of the information is? And we go to it, like most of the time, right? We go to it, right? I was just correcting somebody on a duffel bag that had a logo on it, right? Hey, for the young sellers, your duffel bag can't have a logo on it, right? So I'm like, he had an Adidas duffel bag, and he like, for real, CMC? I was like, come on, let's go. Right? We looked it up, right? It's right here. This is where it is. Hey, by the way, also in here, you could do this, family and life. You could do this, transition. You could do this, that. It wasn't that he didn't care. It was that it never was bought to. It's like bibs, right? Some people don't know about bibs no more.
Oh man, I get in that conversation often.
Say to Aaron's point, the one piece that is out of everybody's control is that individual person's care factor. And
Facts.
to me, that's what Aaron's frustration is I can't make you care about your career progression until you care about your career progression. That's kind of why no matter what Fat Chief does, my Navy HR still says #own your career. Because all they can do is tell you the information is available. But if you are third class and you don't care about what it takes to make chief, and so you don't lay out those building blocks, no matter how many CDBs you go to, no matter how many counseling sessions you get, no matter how many mentoring sessions you get, if you don't care, then it doesn't matter how much you push. It doesn't matter how much information is available. You just don't care. And so I'm not putting any energy into that. But if I think it's important, then I do push that stuff out. And if you catch it, great. If you don't, I'm cool too. But then when you do need it, and depending on what time you are on that track, it's going to dictate how you get my help. Like one thing I would say, there's a difference between asking for my help when I got time to influence it and asking my help because you messed up and now you need my help. Those are two different responses.
Yeah.
And your level, your individual level of education prior to engaging me is going to dictate how I respond.
I agree with you. And I want to go back, tied into which is something that Siri said, or Commander Bonner said, right? Going back to his daughter and kind of giving the hard lessons in life, right?
Yeah.
You got to do some things where your peace of mind's got to be settled. I'm not expecting everyone to have the same level of care. But I know for me, hey, I'm hungry. Okay, here's a recipe. Here are groceries. Here's the kitchen. Here's the cooking temp.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you're hungry. Don't. Because I have nothing for you. I gave you everything you needed. You just got to go forth and just follow the lesson plan, follow the recipe. Don't come at me with that, right? I just know for me, where I'm at now, in my job, my responsibility is to show you how to fish. I'm not going to make you fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think your ass may freaking starve. For our kids, oh man, I'm hungry. You're not hungry. You could eat. You ain't missed a meal. All our kids got quality of life that we gave them. You ain't hungry. You just could eat. That's right. So for me, I released to where I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to help you have some level of give a damn because I'm charged to give a damn. And I just want to show you, hopefully, I'll plant the seed for you and it'll grow whether I'm there to witness it or not.
Yeah.
But for me, I release it.
Yeah, I think we talking around each other. I don't know that we disagreeing with each other at all, right?
No.
We're just talking about different points in time. But I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have started this podcast if I didn't think that like we could influence the alternative seller, right? Like the person that grew up with negative influences that happened to join the Navy that might not yet have done the reps and sets, that don't even know if they care or not yet. Right? That their focus was focused on something else, like a street code that they grew up with, like no snitching, no.
Without going into detail of like the backdrop, who in this group of people grew up as that alternative sailor that you were describing? I know I would fit the bill of that alternative sailor.
Is alternative not the default motivated person, or just didn't know or didn't care?
The person that might have needed an errand to am I hitting it right, Siri?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Exactly.
The person that might have needed an errand to like just bring them on board. They could have got an errand, or they could have got this person, and they could have went that way.
Yeah, it was. Am I the only one that came in the Navy?
I could have went either way. I had a good history. I was a good kid, but coming from where I'm from, the things that we measure ourselves by and the things that we focus on to kind of be accepted at those ages, I could have went either way. Luckily for me, I had some third classes in my division that I respected as men first, right? And they were able to steer me a certain way to care about certain things a little bit differently, right? If I would have went the other way, I would have just cared about being a rapper and making it through the X amount of years I had till I got out. But I had some people like, hey, no, read the bibs, read the tech manuals, read that stuff. You will feel the same fulfillment that you feel from doing this, from doing that. And I did. So my career, my Navy career started to compete with my interest to do music, and my Navy career won. It won, but it took some prodding a little bit, right? Not a lot. I can't say I got skipped in school and stuff like that. So I wasn't like, just this other side of the tracks kid, but it could have went a different way.
And I think it's important for the listeners to really understand that, while we go on this podcast and everybody has these unique positions that seem hard and difficult to achieve as, a command CMC and the commanding officer of a ship, aviator or whatever, they may see and go, hey, that's impossible. We're talking to previous versions of ourselves right now.
Yeah.
Like I was the person who's watching this podcast thinking to themselves, I don't think that will ever be me. And sometime I blink and time traveled and now we're here. So in all actuality, we have these thoughts, not because we're just pontificating from some hill, because we're in the same grind that they're in. Most of these kids today are talking about getting it out the mud, but they don't understand that there's some traction from that. There's some torque needed for that. There's some direction needed for that. And getting it out the mud isn't the most convenient thing. Sometimes we just want to hand you the easy way to keep yourself clean as you get on the path to go further than we've even accomplished. So I just want the viewers to, as we are talking in this high level kind of conversation, we were you at some point in time. And this podcast exists so that you can recognize that we're trying to make it so that if you choose to get out the mud, ignore this podcast. But if you want to see something faster and further, listen to the information that's coming across right now.
Hey, I also want to add just a little bit of something to this. Like, I think also a time and adapting mean a lot to this too. I feel like when I came in 98, it was like, go figure this shit out. And I had time to go figure this shit out, right?
Mhm.
We don't have time now to go figure this shit out. Like, we need stuff now. You come to, it's like, hey, Chief, why this not done? Back then, it was like you was asking E5 why it wasn't done. Works in a suit, why it wasn't done. So time has changed a lot, and we have to adapt to the changes that's happening right now. If we're not adapting, if we're not helping more, pointing in the right direction more, we're going to be losing, right? And I hate to say it, all this whole figure this shit out and all this stuff, it worked back in the day. But the time that we need information and we need to get stuff fixed have changed. And then I brought up something that I didn't get, a lot of love for, but now it's like, throw a khaki at it. That's where we at right now. When we need information and we need stuff, and you can, I'm telling you, I've been around it. I've been in inspections, couple of inspections, whatever. When we go on those ships and do all these inspections, right? A big thing after the inspection over and we fail, one of the biggest things is where the khaki was. Was it any khaki involvement? That was one of the biggest takeaways with where the khaki was. And then an inspector might say, hey, I didn't see the chief all day. I didn't see this all day. And that was a big deal, right? But that's where we at. I feel like that's where we at right now when it comes to, because we feel like we can hold somebody accountable. It's my opinion too, of course. We can hold somebody accountable. It's hard to hold that third class or that E5 accountable when I can hold a chief accountable too.
That's on that part though. The nuance of that for me is when that chief is willing to create that space for that first class to mess up.
That's
like
true.
we talked about before, that chief presence thing, and I've been through dozens of inspections from a myriad of organizations, and so when I hear that, to me, two things have happened: that the chief has already got that division and understands, like, hey, sometimes LPO or technical first class, I'm going to push you out front. And if it goes well, great job. If it doesn't, I'm going to be ready to take that blast and then keep moving. When I hear Chief say, throw a khaki at it, to me, the evolution of that has become the chief doesn't want to take that face blast. So they just do it themselves. And now you isolate the first class that wants that opportunity, but you don't give it to them because you just want to execute. And so if the chief is deliberate about, okay, you know what? For this practice and serve, I'm going to let you run it with the inspection team, and I'm going to be in the background. Now, if that chief don't go to that inspector after the fact and like, hey, I understand it didn't go like the way it's supposed to, I was creating a leadership opportunity, I guarantee you that inspector's going to have a different outbrief.
Yeah.
Well, sir, let me ask something.
Yeah.
Because we have you, I got to ask, right? How many COs are empowered or have the fortitude to say, hey, our mission accomplishment is number one. Be ready to answer the call. But also, the other tab running their head is to make sure that, hey, I don't want a tech rep to fix this. I want that third class to fix it, right?
Yep.
It's because I think you and other COs who had to actually get it out the mud, right? Because I remember your progress. I remember you on the At Ease podcast, right? You talked about how you had your staggered level. And it was on this podcast. Your staggered level before you put on khakis as an officer. That shaped you because you're going to want to do the mission, but hey, you're going to make sure you're covering good craps. In my experience, a lot of COs, they don't look. I'm chasing a bird. I'm not getting on chopping block. I care, but not that much to make sure that the EM and the DCman and the FCA is fixing and learning to maintain their equipment. I think that shapes a lot. And because if they're not empowered from the top to fail or to get the ownership, like what Damo said, It's not going to happen.
Right.
I don't know if I asked the question on the tangent.
The question.
I don't know if it's a question or not.
So restate the question just so I make sure I'm good.
Please. Do you think it's more common for CEOs to have that mindset to, hey, mission accomplishment, but also are willing to take the failures of someone working on equipment and having some hiccups that might affect their ability to push on mission?
Yeah.
Hope that Damon, that passed the question Steph test.
No, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I hear know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No, you good. Because I was actually just up at the schoolhouse in Newport last week talking to PCOs and PXOs. To answer your question straight up, yes, they have the authority and they are empowered to do it. It's whether or not they actually use it for the same fear that you're talking about. I tell my crew all the time, I'm playing to win. I don't play not to lose. Like, you play to win the game kind of stuff. And so what we did with our team was I owed it to them to understand where the risk would be in giving them time to fail. And so I needed to give them space by telling my boss, whichever boss I had at the time, here's what I lost. Here's what the impact's going to be. I've done this research. I'm giving my guys this much time to try to figure it out. But in the meantime, here's where I'm going to start greasing the skids for asking for help. And more times than not, I got the thanks, Des. And so I go back and tell my department head or my DSPO or whatever khaki I got at the time, okay, hey, you got this much time to try to figure something out. Otherwise, I'm taking it from you. And more times than not, that's where I earned respect from the crew as a leader. And I was transparent up front about where I was giving them space and where I wasn't. And so the times in times where I was directed to just solve something, especially by the time of y'all on deployment, if I was directing my team to go do something, they knew I was getting pressurized. And so let's just solve this for this ship. And then we'll figure out our own personal interest in it later. And but the CEO has to be willing to create that space. Because one of my tenets was creating an environment for my team to be successful. Because I own all the risk as a CEO. They're going to say, they're going to have, the CEO was X, Y, and Z in Navy times. They're not going to say FC3 broke this thing. No, it's going to be the captain X, Y, and Z. And so, first of all, don't you have a narrative as a junior person saying that you got risk in this? No, you don't. You either do it, you either can do it or you can't. The CEO got all the risk. But how the CEO delegates that duty, responsibility, that accountability creates Damo's point about ownership. Because some stuff I want my junior sailors to just own it outright. But some stuff I want my mess to own outright. I'm glad junior sailor wants to own this. They feel some pride in this thing that they're doing. But for where I'm in my role, if the narrative from the chief's mess isn't ownership on a particular area, CMC, talk to them before I do.
But sir, I'll say this. You mentioned CMC Cobb and how you went there, and those conversations, they're real. And they're charged to know to listen and to embrace the red and be transparent. And then they hit the fleet, and then half and half, they get shook and they don't do it. Because they're like, I'm living in fear.
Either turn into a diamond or going to crush you.
But then the ones who are successful, who are Stockdale award winners, right? They communicate that, but they lean more, in my opinion, they lean to more towards, I'm not about to be on Navy times and task and purpose. And they get shook, and then they don't listen.
And then that's their leadership challenge. We groomed them from E1 or O1 to that point, and those years of experience pushed all those ships to the table. And if their bluff got called, they got called. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah. I think a lot of that stuff also, sir, comes from like what it situational too.
Absolutely.
Right.
All of it's situational.
Yeah. What is it? Like if I got reverse osmosis jacked up, I'm finna cash up that thing. I'm finna get it going.
I'm not telling you not work on the RO machine, but MPO better go. Oxo better go draft that cash rep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think the one of the I hope that I'm responding right. I think to one of the points Aaron was making, like a lot of people don't want to be great. You know, they go to those schools. You know, they go to it's a career that they want to
check
survive.
in the block.
Yeah, it's a career they want to survive. You know, and I one of the questions that I asked my ex, so when I first got to my command is, what did you? And it didn't come from like anything she did. It's like, hey, when you thought about, because she's going to take command. When you thought about taking command, what did you want to do? When you were an ensign and you thought about being in command, what did you want to do? What were your dreams as an ensign about being in command, right? It's the same thing for a young sailor. What was your dreams as an E1 when you was like, if I ever became a CMC, this is what I do? You know, somewhere along the way, you know, people don't rock the boat for long enough time that they like ride it out. Like, no, like I still have the child, like somebody told me not to say it like this, but I still got that childish imagination that, hey, I can change a whole bunch of things and I want to do it. And that's the way I want to move every day. Some people don't. That's why they don't take that risk. You know, they just, hey, I'm good. I don't need to tell Isaac about, you know, we good. We steaming, man. We go, as long as we make it home and all souls that left come home, we good to go. We don't need to rock no boats. You know, then you get the COs that write the books. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we started this, we came up with this, we changed this, right? But not everybody's a change agent, man, unfortunately.
I think a lot of these leaders are like, the NFL draft has happened, right? I think a lot of leaders, a lot of us, you got this high draft value. You get drafted, number one, number two, and then you're a draft bust because I made it. I got drafted. I got my first contract. But you're not going to last in the league past your first contract. So yeah, you could be drafted off that, but then guess what? You're a flash in the pan because, you know, excellence and endurance are synonymous.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, not a lot. For some people, the role is the goal, right? The seat is it. Like, hey, I know people that was like, I don't know what to do next because I made chief, you know? And for me, it was like, when I make chief, I'm gonna. Like making chief was the entryway to do something else, you know? So that's, and we have that too, because again, we talk about careers and everybody just not built the same, you know, no matter what schools they go to. I got a question for Commander Walker. So you get stock.
He scratched his head, so here we go.
No, it ain't nothing. You get stock.
Sugar and salt on grits. Which is it, and why?
And why not?
You achieve, you know, a bunch of things, you know, from a junior sailor up to a CO of a ship. You still going on doing things in your 30 years being in the Navy. Then one day, about 2-3 weeks ago, you turn on an episode of Permission to Speak Freely podcast, and a second class petty officer has you, we ask them, hey, who is your hero in the Navy? You know, who is your hero in the Navy? And a young second class petty officer names you as their hero in the Navy. A sailor you never met.
No pressure.
I don't think so. How does that feel?
Straight out of Mississippi. Let's go.
I got a follow-on question for that too.
Yeah. I'll tell you, definitely another humble moment for me, for sure. I think I rewound that and let it play again because I want to make sure I heard it right. And so, because then I did reach out to you. Hey, who was that? So let me hit him up. We're connected on Instagram now, and that was crazy for me. But it took me back to when I was lieutenant, and one of my mentors. I had gone through something. I won't put it out here, but I had gone through something that really upset me, and challenged if I wanted to stay in the Navy after going through that situation. And that the mentor said, Captain Walker can have a bigger impact than Lieutenant Walker. Just keep going. And to me, that was a culminating event for that moment for me to have somebody I don't know to hold me in that regard was it did feel good. It did feel good. I continue to not take those moments lightly. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Let me get this follow-on question. That's cool, Damo?
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, you mic one, man. All right. So, sir, if your friends of you on Facebook, your profile pic is Sam Wilson, Captain America from Brave New World, right? You're currently rocking a T-shirt with Sam Wilson on there. So me as a comic book nerd, you know, I'm gonna put something out there. So did you watch that movie Brave New World?
Yes.
All right. So the last scene in that movie, Sam Wilson, Captain America, is talking to Falcon. You know, he's in the hospital, right? And Falcon felt he let someone down. So then Sam, he said this, and I saw the movie, and it hit me. And I'm gonna say this quote, I'm gonna ask a question, right? So he said, because if I'm not on point, I feel like I have let down everyone else who was fighting for a seat at the table. That's pressure, man. It weighs on you. And it'll make you wonder if you will ever just be enough. So, do you feel a pressure being in your position? You know, you have a second class. Do you feel a pressure as a leader? Because you have the pressure as command, but also do you feel pressure? And if so, yes. If not, why don't you feel pressure? So what pressure do you feel in your position and your career growth and everything?
Hey, Des, as a accountability buddy, and thinking back to our Popeyes chicken conversation.
Hey, yo.
We'll come to that later. I wanted to get lunch with Des one day, and I was like, let's go. He's like, wherever. I said, all right, Popeyes, just to see if he was going to flinch if he changed up.
Flinch?
Yeah, he didn't. He was like, let's go. We both ordered 3 pieces and sat there licking our fingers at the end. So I just want to let you know, Des, I'm going to hold you accountable to this answer because I believe we had a similar question. So I'll give it back to you, Damo.
All I wanted to say was after Commander Walker answers, I think everybody should answer that question. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, there's definitely a pressure there. From a culture perspective, it's not lost on me that at 48 years old, we serve and live in a certain context, and people get to choose which facts they want to apply to that context. And for me, I've just grown to be comfortable in doing the best I can with what I have and then helping as many others as I can along the way. And so I think that by itself, that mindset by itself adds an additional level of pressure. No different than a kid that's drafted first round, number one. Like the kid from Iowa, Illinois, that just got drafted in the first round, number one, because of how he performed in the playoffs. And they're already saying he's the one that's going to change the team. He's just one player. He's not going to change that organization, but he still has to do the work. He still has to prep. He still has to do all these things to be ready when he's up under center. And so for me, that's where my mindset has been the last, probably ever since I got commissioned, is I can't worry about what everybody else is doing. I'm just going to do the best that I can and understand that there's going to always be somebody watching. And, you know, even with social media now, like there was no social media when I graduated from college and got commissioned, but I still knew that whatever spaces I walked in, I was going to be representation for somebody. They was going to project that on me, whether I wanted it or not. And so coming to an awareness of that, I then had to account for that and say, okay, now that I've realized that others will project their expectations on me, what am I going to do with that? And so that's where I'm at now. And so that's why, the whole Captain America thing is tied to my command coin, is that the idea of what Captain America is just aligned with what my leadership style was going to be. And so I just leaned into it. And because it was, to me, it makes my style of communication, what I want out of life, what I want to do for influencing others positively, it aligns with who I am authentically. And so my messaging is going to always be authentic, and I'm going to always be able to speak truth because it's what I am. It's who I am. And so the burden is still there. That all those things are still there. I've just over time just being able to manage it. And then Damo, like you said, you was at the award ceremony. One of the first people I shouted out was my support group, and I called them all. I called them all out by name because those brothers have been in my corner the last decade. And so I know I'm not doing this I'm not carrying whatever weight I'm carrying by myself. I got a support group of folks, of like-minded folks, that's going to call my BS, but then also lift me up to make sure I keep an even keel as different adversities come my way. And so, I am not running away from that perception.
Yeah. Some of that was what I would have said, honestly. But what about you, Siri?
I think anybody who knows me personally knows I have an unhealthy obsession with Spider-Man. And for a very similar reason, maybe Dez's love for Captain America. I realized that there was a time in my life where I got bitten by a radioactive spider, right? And I had opportunities. I was going to change things or whatnot. And in my head, I may have felt, yes, I know that this pressure is there. Yes, I know that I can do great things. Yes, I know that there are a lot of people who are counting on me. But I had to take the mindset of going off to do those great things by swinging through the darn neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. Just, you're going to see me as I swing past going to my next goal, right? I'm not stopping to train another person to swing through the city. I'm not stopping to take the picture. I'm not stopping so that I can give you all of my tips on how I lifted the car and those different things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swing through the neighborhood. I'm going to go off and do these great things in the Navy to the best of my ability. And every time you see me doing something, maybe that motivates you to try to do some of those similar things. Yeah. And that's really been my mentality. And for me, that takes the pressure off, right? Where I don't feel like will I mentor a sailor? Yes. I don't have a problem mentoring a sailor. But to Dez's point, it's the way he said it earlier. You got to put some skin in the game before I'm going to stop and start mentoring you. It ain't, hey, I see you walking from the plane in a flight suit. Hey, man, be my mentor. Let's have who are you? Let's have this conversation. Here's some homework assignments. Let's see what you do with that homework assignment. I'm just going to keep swinging. I'm going to keep swinging through the city because I still got my goals I got to reach. I'm not the best version of me. And there are people who will see that and eventually start teaching themselves how to swing. And it's those people that you see going through the motions and you're like, oh man, you're getting further enough. Let me give you this tip to make you more efficient in that. I don't feel the pressure. I don't feel the pressure of the entire, I don't feel the pressure to make all of New York City learn to be Spider-Man. Yeah. I only feel the pressure of those that I know I can help, I know I can benefit, to come back and give them the tools that they need to make it to the next level. And that relieves a lot of the pressure off of me.
Yeah, I'll get sailors to DM me. Hey, sir, I saw you on social media. Can I get a interview appraisal from you? Like, yo, who you are? I'm not going to endorse you for a commission in the United States Navy as a naval officer, and I have no idea who you are. So send me that 14-page application. Send me them evals. And do you already have your appraisals already? And then, oh, by the way, here's the My Navy HR for the program authorization that you want. And tell me you're even eligible to apply first. Let's get through that first.
I'm sorry. For me, it's going to be thwap, and I'm just going to keep swinging by. Next.
Thwap. I love it. I'm with some nerves today. I love it. I love it.
All right, what about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I feel a lot of pressure. Sometimes it's like too much I put on myself. I'm like Commander Walker. Yeah, I do look at the Captain America, particularly the Sam Wilson part, Steve too, but
the black one, right?
I like Captain America, man. You trying? Yeah, I do like the black one. Don't give a shit. Yes.
Damn. He likes them both. He likes them. This is
stand on business.
No, he likes all Captain America.
Even though he light skinned.
Yeah.
To answer
salty
the question, salty grits. Yes. Yeah, I do feel it. There are times where I want to move and say, "Hey, man, I don't have to feel pressure, everybody, because I'm owe to me and those who I'm raising in my family." But the two previous answers tie into why I feel pressure. When Commander Walker said, whether it's projected onto me, whether I want it or not, I feel that. There's a moment where I'm like, yo, I gotta do me. And then someone will come to me and be like, hey man, just you being here, I could now aspire to that because I see someone of my experience or someone who looks like me there. So that kind of makes me like, okay, it ain't just me. Right. Mm-hmm. And then to Siri's point, which is like, yo, I feel the pressure from those who live my experience, who are like me. Those two things tie in. Right. So I do feel the pressure besides the regular pressure and burden and privilege of leadership. And to be in uniform, I feel the pressure because I know people project it onto me. And then, I feel the pressure of those who want to be like me. So I do feel pressure. Healthy pressure, but sometimes I do too much. But I do feel the pressure. It prevents me from wearing velvet gold do-rags and Uggs and, other stupid shit like that. So.
So what about you, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pressure, but I want that pressure.
I make love to pressure.
I want to be that. I want to be the the go-to guy. I want to be that guy. Call me. Call me, man. Because I love it though. I love what I'm doing. Right. I'm not only going to get it done. I'm gonna get it done with a smile. Right. I'm gonna walk through the P-way smiling. Right. I'm gonna dap people up. But when you call me, you know what you're gonna get every time. Consistently getting it done, or trying my best to get it done, or calling somebody who can get it done, right? So either way, I'm trying my best to get it done. I'm gonna always put my best foot forward every time, right? And I know people watching that though. That's what I'm aware, right? So I think that's a big thing too, that we got to understand in our positions. We are aware of our surroundings. We know people are watching. So if I know you watching, that's even more pressure for me to do the right thing every time. Somebody looking at me or not looking at me, right? So when it comes to the pressure piece and all that, man, I don't know how to use all these, the Marvel characters and stuff like that. But I remember
it's called thwap. Thwap is you just thwap. You just thwap.
I remember.
You teetered on a pause, say again moment.
It's been emotional.
I was almost there.
Yeah. We had some foul moments that I ain't bring up.
Your eyes. You did a quick little. Sorry, but Damon, you keep building, bro. Keep building.
And Damo, I remember the character Spawn. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's me. I'm going through there, man. Like, hey, I could be whatever, do whatever, I want to do, man. I'm like Spawn.
That pressure thing is real. And I saw it on the ship. I had no problem going to combat or going on the bridge in those high pressure evolutions, because there were times where stuff was getting close and everybody look at me.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm the captain. But being ready for those moments is crucial for leaders.
I think what are your thoughts? And I want to get this back to you, Damo. Like, have you ever seen examples where people take on too much pressure, or maybe the pressure that they're feeling is in their head and only in their heads? That's the piece where, you know what I'm saying, where I'm talking about relieving some of that pressure is let me think about the officer way to say this, because I ain't trying to get myself or you canceled. But I love being in the Navy. I love that it's like this great equalizer. I love being an African-American officer in the Navy. I love my wardrobe. I love being all of this, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the moments in my head when I already have enough that I'm stressed about that I then add on, I'm doing this as a black man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I do that. I know it's there sometimes, but it's always in here. Yeah, I know it's real sometimes.
It's that
But
double
it's al-
consciousness, man. That's what it is.
It's always up here. And so for me, I'm regularly fighting. Just be good enough to do this for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes people are in a position where they're putting more pressure on themselves than maybe is required. It's in their head. So how often has that been a negative? You know, have you got?
Yeah, I think so. Like I've failed somebody before, right? Early on in my career, which then taught me that I can fail people, right?
Oof.
And then it helped me to understand how I felt after failing people. And it helped me to accept the fact that I could fail people, which in turn helped me to understand that, like, no matter. And I also had a very dark period in my career before. And it was based off of all of that pressure. So like failing somebody in that dark period all kind of built me up to like know that even if the pressure exists, I gotta bypass it, man. Like I can't, like kind of like what Siri was saying and a little bit what Commander Walker was saying, like I can't live in it because I don't want it to then dictate my moves, you know? And that's why we come back, some insider ball, right? That's why we come back with an ignorant episode after we do the after school special, right? That's some of that
Free flowing.
Yeah. Some of that is wild.
Open-ended.
Yeah. And a lot of that is because I don't want you to put me in a box. I don't want you to order my steps in your word. like I want to move how I move.
Did you just go gospel on us?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going Marvel, right? So I gotta go TD Jakes, right?
I'm on fire.
But yes.
Have you ever been swallowed?
Oh no!
It's getting bad.
Oh no! Hold on. The wife gets interrupted. Okay. All right. All right. I just want to keep it fair around here.
Hey, that was the one that he said he had to get it before he's 06. Hey, he got it in.
No, he gonna hit me up in Messenger. He gonna hit me up in Messenger tomorrow.
Hey, I'm Winchester. I'm going Winchester.
Hey, he gonna hit me up in Messenger tomorrow.
Hey,
like, yo,
baby,
Damo, he gonna give me one of them Aaron joints. Yo, Damo, yo, can you take that out?
Can you edit that one out?
Aaron asked me to edit something out when the episode was out already. Hey, I'm like, I made a clip out of that already.
Hey,
can you take that out?
Because inside the ball, I was like, hey, sir, it was a bear. No, this is sir to Save Seymour. All right, what you got? I'm not well, let me see it. Yeah, man, I don't think you should do that, man.
Well,
that's tough.
Yeah, actually, Commander Walker was involved in that. Like, it was like, Aaron was like, well, let's ask him. If he don't approve, then can you take it out? Yeah. So boom. But that's me on that, man. If we do that too much, man, if we pay attention to that too much, man, we gonna start going for that. And that's when you see Will Smith. I gotta get a Will Smith shot in. That's when you see Will Smith picking roles for the Oscar. Right? That's when you see, in my opinion, that's when you see Leo fighting a bear in 30 Degrees in the worst movie of his career to get an Oscar. Like, I just, yes, it's people watching, right? But if I lock in and do me that I've always been doing, I'll be fine.
That's a bar right there, man. If you lock in and do you're going to be fine.
100.
That unnecessary pressure is a thing, though, man.
Yeah.
Right? I ain't gonna lie. Like, I have sat down and talked to chiefs before, man, about like, hey, the sailors that you are talking about are grown-ups too.
Yeah.
You know, let them be grown ups. So you're taking on all these responsibilities and making sure all of this stuff is done. And sometimes we forget, you know, they are adults too, right?
Yeah, and your existence alone is heavy, right? If you a black woman CMC, right? Your existence alone is heavy. You don't need to, before you make every decision, say, "Hey, I'm a black woman CMC. What do I do here? What do I do here?"
Right.
Commissioner, speak freely on something.
What's up?
All right. So going back to his family, going back to our brother with the Uggs and the gold velvet do-rag.
Yeah.
Right? That is a chief that was out of pocket.
Yeah.
There's enough pressure because I see some of the comments with the innuendos. Right?
Yeah.
Nah. That is a chief, and he got to his station in his profession. He ain't there by accident. He grinded, he got there, and a group of his peers selected him to that.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that's someone's mentor, that's someone's old head, whatever. He's not there by mistake. He's going to learn from it, and we also going to recalibrate off that. So what I say for me is you keep it to that's a chief that was out of pocket and not the other things that some people try to put in there and move forward. And if you don't look at it as a chief, you know, and you look at some other stuff, that's your choice, but I don't agree with that. That's a cheat.
Yeah, and then we all sitting in seats. Everybody, right? All of us that's right here, right now. We all sitting
From
in
a
seats
glass house
where everybody's looking at us, right? Everybody. It don't matter if they're young, black, from Philly, from wherever. Like they are all looking at us, right? We moving how we moving. You know, we turning and burning. We moving in group, like because like I recently checked out a seller and he was like. Yo, you black, you're a CMC, man. And every time I see you, I smile. You know, he's a black kid. It's another young seller that's not a black kid who every time he see me, he smile, right? Because I might look younger than what he's used to from a CMC or just I'm his CMC, right? So it's just wait when it comes to that seat, man. And sometimes I think the background, and I tell people this, like, man, sometimes you gotta like tune out the background noise. You have to. You just gotta lock in because one of the things we're gonna do is make mistakes, right? And it's kind of veering off a little bit from that, but one of the things we're gonna do is make mistakes. I've made mistakes a lot, like in my last couple of years, right? You make mistakes, and I know Commander knows it. Like just as a triad member, like y'all really can't like harp too long on those mistakes because. Right. Like careers and lives are always like at hand, right? And I think sometimes the people that's my own opinion about people that's under pressure, I think sometimes they might harp a little bit longer on those mistakes because they know the weight of it all. Yeah, these mistakes weigh a lot, but we got to keep it moving. It's the resolution.
Right. And I think it's important too. One of the greatest feelings has been, you know, I look at the wardroom of officers that were under my charge while I was in command. And for the most part, all of them enjoyed having me as their captain. And they're aspiring to do other things. Like they still text me even now when they achieve another milestone, they give me an update. And their background wasn't just black. And I take pride in they saw me as their captain. With all the pressure that we just talked about, I think we're also leaders that we take pride in people finding something to identify with us. And it's not just superficial. It is they appreciate the training that they got from us. They appreciate that we listened. They appreciate that we accounted for their struggles in impacting their career. I think that's, for me, that's the biggest takeaway is we account for all that stuff from an individual perspective. And then we have a core group of people that still take all that to account. And then there's something that resonates with them that keeps them connected to us. That's bigger than any one particular thing.
My question for you is this, and it could be a quick one, but I met your wife at the ceremony.
Yeah.
And she was amazing. She was lovely, amazing, sense of humor, just really incredible.
Mhm.
And you know, and you got sons, right?
I have one son and two girls, two daughters.
Okay, so you got one son and two daughters. And we talk a lot about like how you show up as a CEO. We've talked about that last episode. We got into a little bit this episode. My question for you, and this is actually my last question I got is, how do you show up as a father and a husband?
Man, that's a good one. I would start with being honest about what I feel like my requirements are from a career perspective, and then making sure that I invest in protecting time to be with the family. During the command tour, you know, we had to have some real conversations about what it was going to take to be successful. To your earlier point about, you know, striving for greatness. I had no idea what I was walking into when I got reslated from Bainbridge to Stout, but I knew command was going to still be command. And so making sure that when I could have family time, make time for it. I'd say that's what became important. And then, you know, over the course of a full career, just not even just the command piece, but just over time, doing the work in, okay, I'm going to make sure I take leave to be at this event. You know what? Family, I'm not going to make this event. So let's talk about what those feelings are going to be so that we understand dad can't be there. Just doing the work in negotiating those times so that everybody understands is how we got through it. And so like right now, you know, I finished my change command was last summer. And so I took care, I got some, you know, I had to get a shoulder surgery and all that kind of stuff. And so taking trips and, you know, turning the social media stuff off to be present in the moment for different things. Just doing that stuff is what has mattered. And so now that I'm back on shore duty, you know, it's like I told my wife, like, okay, you're doing something for your birthday without the kids. Unless, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? And then we're going to make sure you do that. You know, I planned, you know, a whole, you know, weekend with her, you know, that she didn't have to plan, you know, because that's what she valued. Or that's how I showed interest in sustaining our marriages. She didn't do any of the planning. I did the planning for the whole trip. Then, you know, and hey, we're going to make sure we do something, you know, in August. We are going to do a Christmas vacation because I was, you know, Christmas 2023, I was in the Red Sea. Christmas 2024, you know, we was here. I'm sorry, Christmas 2024, we was in the Red Sea. Christmas 2025, I was home, but I was recovering from surgery. So Christmas 2026, we're going to make sure we do a family thing. And, you know, we're coordinating that kind of stuff. It is when I can be present, be present.
I like, hey, I got one more question for you too, sir. What's next? Where you at right now, and what's next for you?
Yeah, and so right now I'm at Surfland, executive assistant position, and I'm due to probably do that to the end of the year, and then I got to do my joint tour, and I've already screened for major command, so I got to do major command after that. And that's either, you know, you have another ship or a squadron, and so I'm working with my detailer on that conversation over time, and we'll see how that plays out based on when I get relieved from the current job. And so that's what the future's like: a joint tour and major command. That's what's next. I was supposed to be a reactor officer, but that didn't work out, and so now it's just from nuclear back to conventional, and just keep working that track.
Yeah. I saw the reactor officer thing, and then it went away, and I didn't know, you know, what happened there. So
yeah. Sometimes, you know, that it was, you know, the reason I made that post is I remember I had dinner with one of my good Navy buddies, and we was having, no, it was lunch. We was having lunch and we was talking through some different challenges. He was like, man, I thought your life was perfect, man. I thought you had no problems. I'm like, yo. I was like, first off, that's the furthest from the truth. Is like, that from the mud thing is real. This is hard work and sacrifice to get to this point now. And so because I was kind of doing that, like, not really a blog per se, but as I was hitting these milestones for my journey to become a reactor officer, I felt from from an authenticity perspective, there was a goal I was chasing. There was a goal I was working toward, and I didn't accomplish it. I felt it was important to acknowledge that this thing that I've been overtly communicating didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. But yet I'm still here. And so I just thought it was important to do that, because I had tried something and I had failed after several years of working towards that goal. I just thought it was important to highlight that, yeah, even some of your heroes, quote unquote heroes, they don't hit the mark all the time.
Nice.
Hey, well, sir, everything you just said, I definitely take heed to that. I'm sure other people will, and that's why we thank you for just being here, just being approachable, having a say again moment, right? And just being real with your experience, man. I know we're getting up on our time. I do want to get into some picks. So I got 2 books, picks of the week, and one person, I think I saw a picture with you on the socials. So once again, I'm going to talk about our first pick, a book of the week, is Letters to Myself by retired Captain Dr. John Cordell. All right. Damo and I met him last week down at the, I forgot the name of the bookstore, but great time, approachable, much like you, sir. I think that this is a book that is very easy, quick read, whether you're just in leadership or business or your experience is life lessons. It's very digestible. I'm loving it. So I really think you should get this book. Once again, first book, Letters to Myself by retired Captain John Cordell. Second book, because, I was
let me highlight Dr. John Cordell. He's a great dude. He visited the ship a couple of times when I was going through our journey to get ready for deployment. And so, he being a champion for fatigue management and crew endurance and circadian rhythm stuff, he's a game changer in that space, advocating for COs, khaki leadership to think differently about what it means to be ready. Because it's easy to do that with equipment. But he directly influenced my narrative I had with my crew. I would tell my khaki leadership, treat your people with the same level of urgency you treat the equipment. And because I needed them to understand I cared just as much about the sailor getting their kids' medical stuff worked out as I did you fixing the GTM. It is just as important. And so if you have a decision point between getting that sailor off the ship that day to go take care of a personal issue, then you need to do that and communicate that up and give me a chance to say, no, I really need them to be here because we got X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, my one talented sailor that can fix that thing, you need an extra day to fix it because they got to go take their personal stuff. You owe me that conversation. Because I'll call my boss and say, I need another day. But I don't get to not tell my boss I need another day when I've already told him I'm gonna have it done today. Because it's funny, but the quick C story I had is I had a department head and a chief come in. This was like a really critical time right before deployment. Right before deployment. And the officer wanted to get the mission done. And I asked the question, I said, well, what about this? What about this sailor impact? I looked at the chief didn't say anything. And the officer said, he paused and he said, no, we're good. We'll figure it out. And I looked at the chief again. I said, Chief, are we good? And she said, well, sir, no, we're not, because X, Y, and Z for the sailors. And I looked at both of them and I said, this is why we use the 80-20 rule. The officer is 80% mission, 20% people, and the chief is 20% mission, 80% people. I needed your 80% of the people so that I can understand the 100% of the people impact for what we need to do. So what we're going to do is delay this because the people need this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take that on with my chain of command. And that's a direct influence from Dr. John Cotto in helping me work through the reps and sets on how to communicate that from a mission accomplishment perspective.
So fam, if you don't need another reason to get this book, it's right there. I'm going to put a charge out. If you're a chief and you paired that division officer, I challenge you to read this yourself, gift it to your divo, your department head, and I hope that this book is eventually on the Institute reading list, things like that. My second book, real quick, sir, my recommendation to you and for Siri, The Virtues of Captain America, second edition by Mark D. White. You can use a fictional character as an exemplar. If you're a comic nerd, it gives real life things. I love this book, second edition, the audio. So, sir, I'm going to gift this to you as a gift, a second time person on the pod. So
Long as under $20.
Oh, yeah, we're good. See? And you see that? Boom. 13. I got you.
And guess what? That's an ethics conversation that first class need to get in ELD. Boom.
Boom. All right. And last thing for me, we talked about endurance. I'm going to give a quote, then I'm going to pass it to Damon. Hopefully it's a new segment, quote of the week. Well, the Damo. Sorry. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. If you're gracious, you'll get more of it. So that's my quote of the week. All right. Now I'm going to shut up.
A quick shout out to retired Captain Cotto, Dr. John Cotto. He did an amazing interview on some podcast a couple of weeks ago. More people need to check it out. It was great.
This one. Yeah, I'll say it.
More people should check it out. Yes, it don't say episode, whatever. It says bonus, but it's a really good conversation. Hey, Commander Walker, I think you know by now just how much I appreciate just you, right? Without the uniform, without the seat, just who you are as a person and what you mean to people and what you mean to me. And it also means a lot to know that I have somebody that I could reach out and get that like blunt kind of feedback and advice from. And it always comes. You know, I remember one time you hit us up and you was like, man, I don't know if I was being too blunt. I'm like, you can never be too blunt. Yeah. You know, it was coming off one of the conversations that we had. And you and a few other people I don't take that from everybody. Just to be, I'm not taking
you consider the source.
Yes. So you and a few other people I respect enough to receive that from. And I just appreciate it. And I hope that whatever it is, it continues. I hope 5 years down the line, I could reach out, and ask you a question. And I hope I've seen you. I hope I've crossed paths with you again. Like I said, a lovely wife, lovely family. And just thanks for coming on and hanging out with us again. This was a little different than the last episode. We did a little bit more debating. It was a little less linear, but it was fun, and I appreciate getting you on here. So thank you.
Absolutely, this was a pleasure. I love what you guys are doing. The variance of it is awesome. I think it's sorely needed because you create space for people to pick and choose what pieces of the content that they want to take from it. Which I think is healthy because if you get all your information from a single source, then you're gonna be uninformed. And but the balance between just having fun and an opportunity to educate and inform. I think you guys do a great job of balancing that. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I most definitely for the pod. Thanks for Siri for coming on. Also, Captain Walker. They say something. They say a little bit of nothing comes easy. out of Mississippi. But what does come out of Mississippi is we built different, right? So with that being said, Mississippi stand up.
Mississippi stand up. Let's go.